Hey, hey, hey. Alrighty, we are here for the third installment of this series. This is our sweet summertime series, and we are going to be painting the 6-piece garland. Each piece is about 6 inches on the longest end, which would be this end right here. And I have there's 2 different styles. There's this with a little bite taken out of it, and then there's just a solid wedge. So I am going to, let me make sure my volume's down. Let me pull up our live. Oh, there we are. Look how easy peasy. Okay. Here we go. So today we are going to use the word summer. So if you put the word summer in the comments, that'll be that magic word that'll get you the link to everything that we talk about today, whether it be where to find the blanks. It comes in a bundle of all 3 pieces. You could also get these as individual pieces as well, or get them in a particular size that you want. But if you want to paint the exact same projects that we've been painting this entire series, all you have to do is put the word summer in the comments, and it will lead you to where you can buy a bundle of the door hanger, the attachment, and the 6-piece garland in the exact sizes that I painted this during the series. Okie dokie. So I'm going to separate. It's not going to make a huge difference between the two. Really, the only difference between the two, other than the bite mark, is the direction that they will be hung. But I do like to do things in batches. Okay, so someone holler at me when it gets to the point of splatter paint, because I've been tending to forget. I've been speeding past that splatter paint point. Okay, so y'all don't let me forget that. Hey, Shelly, how are y'all doing? Okay, so let's get our wild berry. Let's not waste any time today. We already know the process, right? We've already painted this pretty much twice, just on different shapes. Remember, our door hanger and our attachment, they're pretty much the same situation, just on different shapes. So what we're going to do is we're going to paint these pretty much the same way. So let's just get into it. I'm going to grab my 2-inch brush. You can use a 3/4 inch brush. I just want to cover more area at a time. And I'm going to paint pretty much the entirety of each piece, okay? Like I said, if you put the word summer in the comments, I will come back and link anything that we talk about. You'll get like a buffet of links. It'll be just kind of a list of everything we talk about. There will be a link that leads you to the templates, because the templates are a gift from me to you this summer. If you need to find the blanks, that link as well will lead you to where you can find the blanks and all the replays for this series. So if you missed the door hanger, if you missed the attachment, don't worry, put the word summer in the comment, and then when I give you the buffet of links after we go live, all you have to do is pick what you're looking for, the link that you're looking for, and it'll lead you directly to that. Hey, Deanna, how are you doing? Stinking excited to paint this garland. Like, the whole set comes together when the garland gets painted. It's always my favorite part. All right, so like I said, we're just base coating all 6 pieces with wild berry. Again, if you put the word summer in the comments, that'll also lead you to the supply list. The supply list, the digital designs, the printable templates, JPEGs, the mock-ups, all that, that all comes together in that same buffet link, link of buffets. Link buffet, that's what I'm trying to say. Let's see. And this is just a generic 2-inch brush. This is my favorite base coat brush. Whenever I have to cover a good bit of real estate, I like to use this brush. I have multiple of them. They're my favorites. But I'm not like it. It's just a wide, flat brush. That's all you really need. It does the trick for when you're just wanting to put down a solid color base coat. Here we go. There's 6 of these pieces, and each one of them are about 6 inches on the longest side. When you open up the link buffet and you go to get the digital templates, the garland PDF is perfectly sized to this size right here. So all you have to do is print it out And that is the exact size that I'm painting, okay? There's going to be a JPEG in there as well, so that you could say you want to do a watermelon slice as a door hanger. Well, that JPEG is in there so that you can resize it using Block Poster. So you can resize it to whatever size project you want. But if you're wanting to paint the exact same sizes as I'm painting, and you're cutting out your own pieces with a jigsaw or a scroll saw, don't worry. Every PDF in there is going to be sized to the exact size that I'm painting today. But if you do not want to cut your own, all you have to do is, like I said, put the word summer in the comments, and then I will come back after I'm live and put that link buffet down, and the one that leads you to the Sweet Summertime virtual paint party link, it will lead you to where you can get blanks, you can get the digital designs, and the blanks come in a bundle, but you could also get them individually in whatever size you want, anywhere from 4 inches to 24 inches. I'm sorry. Hey, Marie. Watched a replay for yesterday's video last night. The cupcake was perfection. Y'all, here's the cupcake. It's dry. I need to put a sealer on it because y'all know anytime you do an ombre, once you put the sealer on, it like, oh, it makes everything blend together even more. No matter how good of a job you do blending, that sealer it's like chef's kiss perfection. It smooths everything out. Hey, Shayna. I have a Coke today because I did not brew coffee before I started painting. And I needed some caffeine. I was dragging. Mr. Wallace is home today. So whenever he's home and I have to get some work done. So I had some graphics I needed to design, and I had some templates I wanted to get at least sketched out. But I can't do that if he's here. He loves it. Is an Olympic sport to him. He thinks it's cute, and sometimes it is, but sometimes it is a test of our marriage. He likes to mess with me and try to distract me. And he's very vocal about it. He's very honest about it. He goes, yeah, I don't know why I do it. I just think it's cute when you get frustrated, or, I just want to spend time with you. I'm like, that's cute and all. That is cute and all. There are only so many hours in a day, and I only have so many hours I can dedicate to getting some stuff done before the kids want to spend time with me. And once the kids want to spend time with me, I put everything away, and I'm like, okay, I'm yours. I only get so many of these summers with them. So I went to the library today and got one of the study rooms, and I had peace and quiet. Y'all, I don't know if I've ever been in a room that quiet. I'm going to have to do that just for my sanity. I'm going to have to go back. It was so nice. It was so quiet. It was nice. Okay. Next step, we're going to bring out our carousel pink and our white. Okay. But we're still going to be using our wild berry. So these are the 3 colors that we're going to be using to make our watermelon gradient, okay? To ombre it all the way down to the watermelon rind. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the white aside for just a second. And we're going to take the wild berry and the carousel pink, and we're going to do the exact same thing to all 6 pieces, okay? So I'm just going to kind of set the majority of the pieces out of the way. I'm going to work one at a time, but this is going to go pretty fast. It's going to be rinse and repeat. So I've got wild berry, carousel pink, okay? Y'all know me, I'm not a stickler for wasting paint. Really not. Paint is the cheapest part of our project, so when I can avoid it, I do, but I don't stress over it. Let's be real. Most of us have more paint than we care to admit to, right? I'm not saying that that's a reason to go wasting it. I'm just saying I'm not going to sit and stress out over wasting it when I know I've got plenty of backup over here. I'd much rather spend more time painting than stressing over something like that. Okay. So I've got wild berry, carousel pink. I'm just going to pick a line. Let's see. I think I'm going to turn it sideways and pull towards myself. Just like that. Okay. I'm going to go back and forth. I'm not moving quite yet. I'm just staying right on that line. hold on. I did it wrong. I had this parallel to me. I need to have it like that. Like the wedge parallel, not necessarily the edge. That's okay. We can fix that. All right. There we go. So I've got Wild Berry, Carousel Pink. I'm going to clean my brush. No, I should not have done that, should I? Okay, so we're going to set that aside. You can work one piece at a time. I'm going to try and mass produce these, okay? So Carousel Pink, Wild Berry. I'm going to pick about the same, about a third of the way down. Okay. And I'm going about a quarter of an inch up, quarter of an inch down off of my equator. So there's my equator of where my two paints met and where I put it down first. And I went about a quarter of an inch up. And I'm going to go a quarter of an inch down. But I've got straight from the bottle Carousel Pink here, straight from the bottle Wild Berry here. Okay. I'm going to set that one off to the side. New piece. Notice I did not clean my brush. If my brush starts getting murky, if I go too far this way or too far this way, I will clean my brush. But for right now, I'm pretty happy with the way it's going to go. These are small enough pieces. I can kind of control, have some damage control here. So I'm just going one side. Okay, make sure that it's centered. So this is going perfectly east. And I'm going to go north and south with my brush, okay? Go about a third of the way down. I'm just going to wiggle my brush like I'm going this way and this way. I'm going back and forth about a quarter of an inch up and down. Okay. Let me catch up on a comment or two. Let's see. So I need to go and watch the replay. I missed it. Shayna, it turned out cute. It turned out super duper cute. Of course, the cupcakes and the popsicles tend to do really well. And they always turn out super cute. Can't go wrong with a popsicle or a cupcake. Those designs tend to do really, really, really well. And it doesn't matter who you are. It could be for a kid. It could be for an adult. They're just universal. Everyone gets excited when the cupcakes come out for a birthday party. Or if it's summer and the popsicles, the tops of the popsicles are starting to be cut. All right, there we go. Now I'm going to clean my brush. I have all 6 pieces ready to go for the next step. I'm going to clean my brush. Oh, thank you, Michelle. She just shared the love. She just spread the good word. Let's see. This is Becca. Also tell Raylan I said hi and I have more ponies for her. Oh, today is her last day of summer school. I'm going to have to tell her. She's going to think that it was a summer school surprise. She'll be so excited, Becca. So, okay. So we do, Becca, you'll think this is cute. So every once in a while, there's a show. It's kind of a kids show, but it's really for moms. So I've got Carousel Pink and white. And I'm going to do same thing, except for I'm going to start in the Carousel Pink. I'm going to match the Carousel Pink up here and just blend it all the way down, okay? Just wiggle about a quarter of an inch. Now, if you notice this, if that gets crazy, see how that got a little crazy? I probably won't put as much Carousel Pink on my next. I'll just take a little bit of water. Okay, just a little bit. Y'all know I love that spray bottle. And I'll just blend that out. Okay. There we go. Perfect. You want to go all the way into, at least into where the white's going to be. Okay. So rinse and repeat. Rinse and repeat. So every once in a while, about twice a year, there's this little pop-up store that pops up, and it's all, it's hand-me-down clothes for Becca, so she can. I don't know if she knows the word consignment or not, but there's a consignment store, which is it's a big hand-me-down store where people bring their leftover clothes that their kids have outgrown, and I went last year, so I didn't put as much carousel pink on my brush here. Okay, I put more white than I did carousel pink. And I went last year and I got, and so there's more than just clothes. Sometimes there's toys, and this time there were toys, and there were My Little Pony Build-A-Bears. Someone had consigned their My Little Pony Build-A-Bears, and I could not help myself. I was like, oh, Raylan's going to love those. We'll add them to her My Little Pony collection. And so I picked them up. They were only like $2 a piece. And so I picked them up. And if y'all didn't know this, Build-A-Bear has a program that if you bring your old bears in, say the stuffing isn't as fluffy as it used to be, or the stitching is coming undone where they stitched it up, they have a program where if you bring your old bears in, they will restuff it for free, or they will re-sew it up. So moms, if you don't want to have to re-sew your kids' Build-A-Bears, I highly recommend taking it back to, if you have a local Build-A-Bear, taking it back to Build-A-Bear and let them do it for you. I have been doing that for years. Hayden has had Build-A-Bears for years. We have an arsenal of these things, and we are slowly recycling them from Hayden to Raylin. And some of them are, Hayden loved his teddy bears, and so that some of them need a good fluffing up. So I have been taking it anytime he has given her one. We have been taking it back to Build-A-Bear and having them restuff it for her. So it's almost like this bear is getting a whole new life with two different kids. Like it kind of reminds me of Toy Story, where Andy passes his toys down to the girl down the street. It reminds me of that. Okay, like I said, we're just rinsing and repeating. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit of water just to make this kind of fade up into the wild berry. Clean my brush off. My towel's getting a little over. It is soaking wet right here. This is where I've been cleaning my brush off. I think I have one more piece. Okay, last piece for the ombre. Last piece. Okay, here. Oh, wait, nope. I lied. Well, no, I didn't lie, but there is only one piece left. But my brush got kind of murky. Okay, here we go. I'm going to put water down first because this one's super dry. Match my carousel pink up to my carousel pink. Like I said, just rinsing and repeating. Same process over and over and over again. And then clean my brush. This kind of got a little haywire. Clean my brush and fade that up. Okay. There we go. I kind of want a little bit more carousel pink on that one. That one doesn't have enough. I want a little bit more white. There we go. There we go. Now, we're going to let these dry. Hey, Terry. Hey, Deidre. These are fun. I love the little pieces. Y'all know me. I love a good ornament and a good garland piece. But catch you live today. Haven't been able to since you started this week. Oh, man. Hey, good thing the replays are still going to be up. They'll still be available. But I do like it when y'all hang out with me live. I had to visit my Hobby Lobby store to get my stencil last night. They didn't have the misters though. Okay, so Gina, did you go into the fine art section? I have found that these right here are not in the craft section where we shop, you know, where the craft paint is, this kind of paint. It's over in the fine art section. And also, if you can find the Tim Holtz, like alcohol inks and stuff like that, this they're over there too. So they have these over in the fine art sections where you can buy the brushes one at a time and the tubes of paint that look like toothpaste tubes. And then you can also find it over where the Tim Holtz like alcohol inks and the stampers and stuff like that. That's where I have found them. Okay, we're going to blow dry this and then we're going to do some splatter paint. Y'all, I didn't forget this time. I didn't forget. But each garland piece is going to look slightly similar. I mean, slightly different because gradients are never exactly the same. You're always going to start in a totally different spot, no matter how much you try. I did look in the fine art section, but I didn't look in the Tim Holtz section. Next time you go, check out the Tim Holtz section. I want to say that's where I picked this one up. The smaller ones I like to use, I got from the fine art section. Just blow drying all 6 pieces. Some of them are off camera, I'm sorry. I know it's so much fun watching paint dry. Okay, that's good enough. Now, let's grab our Sunny Day. Okay, here's Sunny Day. We're gonna put that on our palette, and we're gonna add some water. Y'all know me; I like to use the clean water every once in a while if I have it. If my paint water isn't this dirty, I mean it's already dirty enough that I don't want to incorporate anything pink into yellow paint. I'm gonna use my mister because it's clean paint. It's clean water, and I'm going to take a flat brush, and I'm probably gonna use about a 3/4 inch brush. The bigger the brush, the bigger the splotches or the splatter. The smaller the brush, the smaller the splotches. And also, the more water you incorporate into the paint, the different type of splotches you get. So there's so many factors that you can use to kind of get different looks with your splatter paint. Obviously, the more water you use, the more translucent your splatter is going to be. I kind of want mine to have a decent splatter. So I'm going to pick up a good amount of paint. And don't worry, if you don't like the splatter from the get-go, you can always take a baby wipe, wipe it up, and oh yeah. I'm loving that. That's perfect. That's the perfect little splatter. Do y'all see that? Okay. Move that one off to the side. Let's move as fast as we can just because this water on the palette. If there's anything you hold near and dear, move it out of the way because this splatter goes everywhere. I promise you, I'm going to find little yellow splotches all over the place for weeks. No matter how much I scrub. Now, if you notice, I'm hitting these, but I'm also kind of tapping it over here. I don't know if that tap is doing really anything, but I feel like it is. So if you're wondering what you're doing different from me, it may be the little tap-tapperoo that you do as you. Oh, the splatter paint. It's the splatter paint for me. It's my favorite. I think it's my favorite part between the stenciling. And the splatter paint. Let's see. One more. Ah, I dropped it. Okay. Now, I have a question. Okay. We have by the time we finish today, we will have only painted our pieces. We will not have finished our pieces, right? If I were to pop on live tomorrow, would you like to see how I take all these pieces and finish them out? Like put the garland on its hanger, the sealer that I like to use, the Velcro I like to use, the hangers I like to use, whether or not we end up adding some glitter to the pieces, because I'm still debating on whether or not I want to add some glitter. Would y'all like to come and hang out with me tomorrow at noon? And hang. It will either be 10 a.m. or noon. I haven't decided yet. 10 a.m. or noon. Your sets are always so pretty, but the garlands are definitely my favorites. These are going to be so stinking cute. I know, right? You just can't resist a good watermelon during some summer season, right? The smaller pieces are my favorite to paint. I think, and I don't know why. I think my guess is that that it's because I can sit and really focus on them. I'm afraid to put my hand down because I know that yellow paint is still very much wet. Okay. All I'm doing is I'm putting my little white band, because we're going to have a white stripe and a green stripe. But while this is all drying, I'm going to try and fussy paint this white stripe on here, on each one, all 6. Okay. So if I were to come and hang out, I haven't decided if it's going to be 10 or if it's going to be noon. And finish all of our pieces up so that we have finished projects. Because right now they're half finished because they're not sealed and they're not ready to hang anywhere. They're just painted, right? A lot of times we'll get something painted and we're so excited and so proud of it, but we don't display it because we never finished it, right? So let's finish it. Y'all want to come and finish it tomorrow? Gina says absolutely. You should do a rag swag with the garden. Girl, don't get me started. Don't encourage me to go to Hobby Lobby and get some fabric. You know, I might have some watermelon fabric. I know I did a rag swag. A watermelon I might have one. Terry, I might have one. I swear I know I did a watermelon themed one because I just vaguely remember ripping up watermelon fabric. And the only reason why I vaguely remember it is because I have come across scraps of watermelon fabric just recently when I cleaned up my craft table, aka my kitchen table. So we may already have one. Let me go looking in the archives. I have a drawer that has all of my pieces. So my attachment, the way I store these is I take my garland and I stack all the pieces up. It's already on twine. So I take my garland, I stack them up, and I have a gallon Ziploc bag. I just do the storage ones. 1, because they're cheaper than the freezer ones. And 2, we're not freezing it. We're just putting it in a drawer. I take the garland and stack them up and wrap the twine around the garland. And I take the attachment and I put the attachment and the garland inside the Ziploc bag. And if I do a rag swag, a lot of times my rag swags are kind of, I don't want to say the word generic, but my go-to colors for a lot of designs. So sometimes my rag swags kind of coordinate with multiple design bundles. Ooh, I'm about to show y'all something. Once I get done with this, I'm going to show you something. It's something that I painted with a paint party not too long ago, and it'll be perfect. It'll, like, you're going to wonder where the heck was that? And how the heck did you forget that? You know, because I totally forgot about it. It just caught my eye. So once I get done, I have something to show y'all. Hopefully I can remember. My brain doesn't like to remember stuff that I get excited about. It'll be 2 o'clock in the morning tomorrow. I'll wake up in a dead sweat going, oh my gosh, I forgot to show them something. I'm horrible about that. Okay. We're just doing a little base coat. Y'all know white's it's gonna be the difficult one. It needs more than one coat, always. Even chalk paint white. Everybody says chalk paint white is a one coat wonder. No, yes, it gets good coverage, but it's never smooth. It's always streaky. And if you do it right, you get a lot of paint ridges. And if you do it right, you really should go back down and buff those paint ridges down with a high grit sandpaper, which will require you to put about a half a coat on top of that. So just the nature of the beast when it comes to painting something block colored with white. I'm barely using any pressure. Which is why my paint is allowing me to go a little further than you would probably expect. If you notice, I haven't re-dipped I'm about to have to re-dip my brush for the first time on this piece, but I still have plenty of paint on the back of that brush. So I could probably, that was one dip of paint. I'm kind of impressed with myself. There we go. Oh, y'all are so funny about the rag swag. It's been a while for a rag swag. You're right. It has. You know, it is the last day of summer school, so maybe I can talk Ray Lynn into going Hobby Lobby shopping with me. And maybe we can do a last minute Hobby Lobby run. I'm almost certain though. I'll do it for you though. I'll do it for you if we end up doing one, even if I have one. Even if I already have one, maybe I can gift the duplicate away. If I end up having a duplicate, maybe I could just make it into a gift away. Remember, take a little extra time and make sure that your base coats and block painting is done well. You don't want to rush through this particular step because it is going to frustrate you further on down the road. It's going to frustrate you further on down the road because there's no way to go back and really undo what you've done that's already dried, especially when it comes to a base coat. The only way to kind of camouflage or conceal an with a base coat like this or a block coloring is to overpaint, like to go a little bit over. And we don't want to do that. We want paint to be where paint's supposed to be. It's okay if we do it on accident, but we don't want to have to do it to camouflage something we should have just took our time on. Slow and steady. There we go. All right, all 6 of them are base coated. Remember, it's going to take 2 coats. So let's go ahead and blow dry because wet paint moves wet paint and we don't want to frustrate ourselves. So let's go ahead and blow dry everything so that we can build opacity and not move wet paint. Oh, Marcy, we don't have SVGs, but we do have the JPEG and the template. But I can get you that information. I can get the information that you're looking for. Y'all are so funny. See, Debbie's over here telling, she's like, nope, I use chalk paint and it still takes 2 coats. I knew it did. I used to paint with chalk paint all the time. And I will say, back in the day, Like back when my son was little, and y'all got to remember he's almost 16 now. Back when my son was little, I feel like chalk paint was totally different than buying chalk paint today. They're just not. It's just not the same. Even inter-brand. Like I buy the same brand as I used to buy, and I promise you, and they probably did it for health reasons. 10 years ago, 15 years ago, they were starting to take some things out of paint and nail polish and all these chemicals that we shouldn't be messing with on a day-to-day basis. They were starting to like reformulate stuff so that we have a little healthier product to mess with. So I totally get it, but it also messed with the formula and the characteristics of how it works, right? So I feel like white chalk paint used to be a one coat wonder, but it no longer is. It's a streaky mess. But I do enjoy the look of it. I love white chalk paint. The look of it, if it's done right, so pretty. It's so buttery smooth, but you have to do it right. Like you have to do the 2 coats, and you have to do a light sanding in between coats. Like it has to be done right. Okay, second coat of the white. Let me look at my, yeah. Okay. Go. There's a second coat there. Remember, I'm using very light pressure, which is helping my paint go a little further. I'm barely touching the wood. I'm just kind of just gliding this paint across. And don't forget there's more paint on the other side of the bristles. Okay. Now I'm just smoothing it out. I have a question. This is so off topic, but it's one of those squirrel moments. My brain just remembered something. So we watched A League of Their Own the other day. And I did not know that Graham, my husband, had never seen the movie A League of Their Own. I'm like, how did you go your entire life being an 80s baby, never seeing, like that was like a, I feel like every household at least saw it once growing up, but he had never seen it before. So we watched it for the first time so he can experience it. And it was one of our go-to movies. Like me and my sister, we watched it all the time. We loved that movie. It made us laugh. Half of the jokes, I had no clue what they were talking about, but I knew they were funny. It's been a while since I had seen it. And so the other night when we were watching it, things were really I mean, it was like I saw the movie for the first time with fresh eyes again, because some of the jokes I'm old enough to understand now, and they were funny. They were so funny. And then the moment, there's those moments in the movie where it makes you cry. And of course, I cry. I mean, I'm a crier. I can't watch a movie without it making me cry. But I love that movie. But he had never seen it, so I was like, "Oh my gosh, how did you go your whole life and never watched this movie?" And he grew up in a house full of girls. Like him and 2 sisters. I still don't understand how he made it his whole life. He's late 30s and still never seen the movie League of Their Own. I'm curious to know if he's ever seen Steel Magnolias at this point. Now, granted, I know I'm naming off some pretty girly movies, but I feel like these are staples. Even men, everyone's seen these movies, right? Maybe it's just me. And if you've never seen it, I highly recommend going and watching it. It's such a good. It's a Tom Hanks movie. It's so good. It's just a good little. It's a good movie to watch when you don't know what else to watch. I think I've already done this, but we're gonna. I don't know. Maybe not. That's one of my husband's favorite. Yes, Carol, thank you. Because one of his arguments was, well, this kind of seems like a girl's movie. I was like, no, I vaguely remember my dad sitting down and watching it with us. And my dad didn't really sit down and watch a bunch of movies with us. My grandfather did. My grandfather, of course, my dad wasn't home most of the time. He worked offshore. So there was a lot of time where we did this kind of stuff while he was away from home to kind of pass the time until he got home. Because he would be gone for 2 weeks, gone for a month and home for 2 weeks. And then he'd be gone for a month and home for 2 weeks. And I want to say this is one of the movies. This is Still Magnolias being another one that I do remember my dad sitting down and watching with us. What's the name of the movie? A League of Their Own. It's a movie about the U.S. had gone to war. I don't remember which war, but the U.S. had gone to war, and so all the men were gone. Okay, all the men were gone. So this was during maybe it was World War II, and all the men were gone, and all the women were kind of filling in and doing, keeping the country running, right? So the story is about how they started a women's baseball league to keep the baseball league alive, pretty much, because without the men, because it was a men's sport at that point, without the men, it was going to completely die because there was nobody, we probably wouldn't technically have the baseball league that we have today if the women didn't keep it going for the seasons that they kept it going for while the men were gone fighting the war. And it's just a historical biopic. It's really good, and it's so funny. But if you're an emotional crier, I am going to warn you. Trigger warning. There are just some moments in it where your face will just burst into tears with no warning, none whatsoever. But then they back it up. They sandwich it with some funny parts too. So it's really good. I highly recommend it. There's no crying in baseball. She's crying, sir. I love it. There's some really good one-liners in that movie. But A League of Their Own. Like I said, if you've never seen Still Magnolias either, I highly recommend that one. I feel like that was a little bit more popular than A League of Their Own. That is actually a good picture of what it's like here because it's filmed in Louisiana. It's from my corner of the state. It's just about 45 minutes from where I live. And it is. It's like it's. I swear, a lot of some of it's shot here in Shreveport. So okay, so our next step is our rind. Let's go ahead and paint our rind. So we're gonna take, just like we've been doing this entire series. So we're gonna take Sage Mint and Hauser medium, and we're gonna marry them together. A 50-50 mixture of both. Remember, mix more than you think you're gonna need because it's very hard to go back and recreate the exact shade of green or whatever color you're trying. Okay, so there's my 50-50, and I'm going to just mix them together, okay? Mix more than you need. This is more than I will need for the entire project. But I can also use this color to tone down or deepen for a shade or a highlight. So it's not going to go to waste. Okay, 50-50 mixture. Okay, same brush. We're going to take that and we're going to base coat this outer rim, okay? Is there a movie that's super nostalgic for you that that you just love? Are there any movies that for you that you'd be devastated if it just disappeared off the face of the earth? Something that you just remember watching over and over and over again during your childhood, or like a comfort movie. So A League of Their Own and Still Magnolias and movies like that. Those are like comfort movies for me whenever I just need to have a blanket day is a term that I just learned the other day. A day where you plan to do absolutely nothing. You stay in your PJs. You kind of, instead of like cooking, you just kind of snack all day instead of cooking actual meal. Like you just give yourself a lazy day. But lazy day sounds so bad. So I heard the term blanket day, which I totally describes what my lazy days look like. I still get stuff done. But there are many times where I will curl up on a blanket on the couch and just exist for a few minutes, or watch a movie, or eat snacks with the kids and play video, stuff like that. Is there a movie that is your go-to blanket day movie? Like you've seen it a million times, but no matter how many times you see it, it never gets old. I'll tell you mine. My all-time favorite blanket movie, okay? Mine is The Labyrinth. If you've ever seen The Labyrinth, if you haven't seen The Labyrinth, if you like Jim Henson, like the Muppets and stuff like that, if you like David Bowie, if you like musicals, it's a musical. I think it technically constitutes as a rock opera. It's such a good, just lazy day movie. I love that movie. In fact, one of my favorite quotes that's not a Bible verse comes from that movie. But I always bring it back to a biblical standpoint, even though it's not a biblical movie. But there's two quotes. There's one that says, "You have no power over me," and I just like in the movie it has its own meaning to it. But every time I hear it, it just reminds me of all those times that I felt under pressure by somebody else. And then I remind myself, why do I feel like they have the power? They don't have the power. They only have as much power as I give them. And I'm giving them way more than they deserve right now. And so in my brain, I'm like, God has provided me with everything I need for them not to have power over me. And so, like, whenever that's said, that's one of my favorite quotes from the movie. But my all-time favorite quote from the movie is, "It's only forever, not long at all." It's one of the lyrics to one of the main songs in the movie. And for me, as a kid, I heard that and it just resonated. And it's always stuck with me because every time I've gone through something really hard, or anytime that I feel like, I'm excited about something and it's not going to get here. Anytime time is kind of wrapped up in my situation, it's only forever. It's not long at all, right? In retrospect, let's think about our forever, right? We're here on this earth as long as we are here on this earth. And for us, that is a forever. That is, a lifetime, no matter how long it is forever, right? So, but think about it. Sometimes we feel like our lifespan isn't very long at all. Like in retrospect, it's not very long. We're a blink, right? We may be here for up to 100 years, right? But in retrospect, that 100 years compared to how long this earth has existed, it's just a blink of an eye. It's only forever, not long at all. It's like it's one of those lines that kind of make me sit and ponder things, and it makes me sit and kind of contemplate. A lot of people say YOLO, like you only live once, and I'm like, no, you do only live once, but it's not very long. And so I don't know. And then the way I bring it back to a biblical standpoint is that it's only forever, not long at all. Like when we get to heaven, that is a new forever. Like it's a new forever, right? We're always taught that what we decide here on earth is going to dictate what happens to our forever, where we're going to spend eternity, right? The word eternity. And like it's only forever. Like when we get to our forever, like whether we are going to be in heaven or if we're not, well, when we're there, It's only forever. It's not long at all. Like when we get there, my understanding is that it's it's gonna be timeless. Like it's only forever, not long at all. Like it's going to be infinite, but it's also gonna feel like in my brain, like it's so hard to explain, but it's one of my favorite. It's seriously, it's one of my favorite quotes that'll make me sit, be still, and just think. And I don't know if anybody else has a saying or a quote or a Bible verse or anything that really just makes them stop in their tracks and just use their brain. Sometimes that one breaks my brain, not gonna lie. But it's one of my favorite quotes. It will stop me in my tracks. All right, we've got one more of these, and this pretty much coded really well. Hey, ladies and Erica, I've missed y'all. Been busier than normal life lately. Are you cutting hair? Are you super busy at the salon, or is it just life in general? I will sing Dance Magic Dance at my any given time. So will Raylan. In fact, between Moana and the Labyrinth soundtrack, that's what we've been jamming to all summer so far. Anytime we're in the car, she will go back and forth through, can we listen to Labyrinth? Can we listen to Moana? I'm pretty much decided that I'm just going to have to make a playlist that has both of those soundtracks on it and just let it go to shuffle. Okay. I love this green needs to be bottled. This is a beautiful green. A House in Tuscany with Diane Lane's. I've never seen that. You have 2 DVDs. Woo! I'm with you. I still have the VHS of my original Labyrinth movie, and I have the DVD. And well, right now you can't stream it. You used to be able to stream it on Netflix, but they took it off of Netflix because they rotate movies out. So it was just its turn. Okay, I'm doing the second coat. It had really good coverage, but it's gonna need a second one. About a half a coat just to clean up brush strokes. Okay, there's 2. So do we have a favorite movie? So Megan says that A House in Tuscany. I'm going to add that to my to watch list because I've never seen that one. Ooh, you got back from Pigeon Forge? That sounds like fun. I'm 60, so I was a kid. We could only watch what was on TV, so no DVDs. If you missed it, you missed it. I like The Sound of Music, though, Carol. I do like. Now, fun fact, I did not see The Sound of Music until I was pregnant with Raylan. The very first time I watched The Sound of Music, I remember I was pregnant with Raylan, and I couldn't sleep. So I stayed up. One night while Graham slept, and I watched movies. There were many nights where I just stayed up because I couldn't sleep. And so one night I remember just randomly watching The Sound of Music because I was like, oh, that seems like a perfect 2:00 in the morning movie. But it was so good. I don't know why I avoided watching it. I just assumed it was going to be boring. I don't know why. And now that I love the movie. I need to sit down and watch it with Raylan. I feel like because she's like me, she loves musicals. I feel like she would love it. Okay, there's 2 coats of the green. And look, we still have plenty of green left over, but don't worry. We're going to use some of that. We're going to lighten it up. We're going to ghost it out even more, and we're going to do our stencil shape. But we need to let that green dry before we go putting a stencil on top of it. Star Wars. Debbie says Star Wars. Marie, I already knew that you were going to at least mention A Nightmare Before Christmas. That's one of Raylan's favorites. Labyrinth, Tremors. Never seen Tremors, so my sister likes it. My neighbor, Totoro, what? The Princess Bride, that's Graham's favorite comfort movie. Graham loves Princess Bride. Back to the Future, I love those. Never seen Anne of Green Gables. I'm going to have to add that. Okay. Shayna, you're gonna disown me. You are gonna disown me. as much as I love The Labyrinth and some of these others, 80s, these are very 80s movies. I'm not a huge 80s movies fan. Like Back to the Future, love it. That's my threshold of 80s movie. But I have a friend, her favorite movies are all the Molly Ringwald movies, like Pretty in Pink and Breakfast Club and all that. I plan to watch all of those with her. Like those are her comfort movies, and so um, I plan to watch, if I can, watch them and experience them with her because those are her favorites. So I have plans to watch them, but I just don't disown me yet. I just haven't watched them yet. I just have not watched them yet. Let's see. Some of these are still super wet. This one's dry, so we can move that one off to the side. Let's see. Trying to catch up on my clients and families here. So my friend Megan is a stylist as well, and she's in the same boat. She I don't remember why she ended up having to take a day off. She took one day off, and her salon stays booked. She owns her own salon here in Bossier, and she stays booked. And so for her to have to take a day off, oh, I remember it was the power outage. Um, she had to take a day off, which means she had to reschedule everybody for that day. And of course, it was a Friday, which is one of the busiest days at a salon. And I can only imagine she wanted to cry, having to refine spaces to find people so that she didn't let anybody down. I can only imagine she wanted to cry. Let's see. Trying to catch a I tried. I love that I can share The Labyrinth with Becca. Watching her watch it for the first time, mine too. Right, I really thought Raylan wasn't gonna like it whenever we sat down to watch it for the first time. Okay, I'm gonna kind of go at an angle so that I don't have to do multiple placements for this. Okay, so I've got my show. This is Show Off's brand. Again, you put the word summer in the comments. I will come back and link everything that we talk about, including the link to where you can order the stencil from Hobby Lobby, or where you can order one of these from Hobby Lobby. Don't worry, I don't get a dime from those purchases. I just like connecting you to really good resources. Okay, that might change in the future. I don't know. Hobby Lobby might realize that I exist and might want to help a sister out. But as of right now, that ain't the case. I just want you to have really good resources. I'm going to take white and ghost out this color that we mixed with the half and half greens. Okay, I'm just going to lighten it down. I'm going to ghost it out a bit. Okay. And as I ghost it out, we're just going to start stenciling away. We're just going to stencil away. We're going to chat and stencil, okay? Just like we've been doing. So I'm going to bring those two together and make an even lighter shade. Okay. Okay. Remember, mix more than you think you're going to use when you're mixing colors. Okay. I'm going to dip my sponge in that and tap the majority of it off. Tap the majority of it off. And I'm just going to tap, tap away. And I'm going to try and keep it on the green. Okay, so let me catch up on some comments here. So I was excited about The Labyrinth too, watching it with Raylan and seeing what her reaction was going to be. And I was so happy when she loved it. Same thing with Little Mermaid. Now we watched not only the new one. I took her for her birthday to go see the new Little Mermaid, and she liked it as well. She loved it. But I also sat and watched with her the original Little Mermaid, and just so that I could say that I experienced it with her, because that was my favorite Disney movie growing up. I love mermaids. Y'all know this. Look at that. Look how cute. Rinse and repeat. Just keep dabbing. Just keep dabbing. Nightmare Before Christmas was another one because my son loves that one. And so, they're 10 years apart. So watching her experience things that I've already experienced with him made this little mama's heart just so happy to be able to relive a little bit of that nostalgia with both my kids and have individual experiences with both of them. Let's see, what's another movie that honestly, Labyrinth and Little Mermaid were probably my favorites. Now I think once she's old enough, a little older, I think Graham's probably going to sit down and watch Princess Bride with her because that's honestly, that's one of his all-time favorite movies. It makes him genuinely laugh every time he watches it. And I love watching him just giggle over stuff that he already knows is going to happen. Like, it's one of my favorite things to do. We don't watch it often enough. We need to watch it a little bit more often because it does. It genuinely makes him laugh. Let's see. John Hughes movies. I'm going to have to go look. Don't, Marie. I've never seen Tremors. I've never. I don't even know what it's about. I know it's bad. There's so many movies that, like, they're classics to most people. But you got to remember, like, we grew up in a time where we didn't have Netflix. Like, I didn't get Netflix till I was 23 years old. That's when Netflix got really popular. I was 23 when I got my first Netflix account. And so, I mean, we all live, like, if we lived in the age of DVD or VHS, I lived off of what we had. Most of us could only watch what we were able to purchase, and movies were so expensive. They were so stinking expensive. And so, like, if it wasn't in your movie cabinet, and everybody had a movie cabinet, whether it had 5 movies or 100 movies, everybody had that designated movie cabinet in the house, right? I can still see mine. It was a big wooden cabinet that my grandfather had built. It looked like a pantry, but it was in the hallway that led to my bedroom, and it had double doors, and it was jam packed with VHSs. Jam packed. And then once we started switching over to DVD, when DVD got really popular, we had a shelf of DVD, but we kept all our VHSs. In fact, I feel like my mom still has the majority of the VHSs that we grew up with. Let's see, John Hughes. I'm going to have to look those up, Robin. Not a fan of Molly Ringwald. Just Pretty in Pink. 27 Dresses is another one. Yes, I'm with you. I love the rom-coms. Rom-coms are some of my favorites. I love a good rom-com. I've never seen Labyrinth or Tremors. I'll have to check them out. Yes. Labyrinth. In fact, I probably need to go. We have a DVD, like a consignment store here. There is for video games and DVDs, and they have a million DVDs. If I can't find a movie on Netflix, I can normally go to this store and buy it for like $4. A used DVD, and just watch it on our living room TV that has a DVD player. Y'all, look how cute this is turning out. It's so cute. So stinking cute. All right, last one to stencil. Just kind of turning it catty corner so that the entire green part is covered. Let's see. There's multiple Tremors movies. Hold up. I'm missing a whole series. Now I just feel like I'm behind. You know something? I don't think my husband's ever seen the majority. I know he's seen the most recent Harry Potter movie. I don't think he's ever seen the majority of the original Harry Potter movies. I may be wrong, but I want to say he has not seen them, or if he has seen them, he has not paid attention to them. He doesn't know the actual stories. So I feel like, as much as my daughter likes Harry Potter, when she's old enough to really be able to watch the whole series, because she's still a little young for some of the movies, they get a little darkish. They get a little dark towards the end of the series, just because, I mean, it's a war. They're fighting a war. So we're kind of holding off on some of the movies, but she has seen the first movie. And I think I'm going to start reading the books with her. They're going to be our summer books. I think I have the illustrated versions of the books, and I have about 5 of them. And so I think I have enough to be able to read to her one a summer, and us always have a fresh one because they come out every 2 years. Have a fresh one come out before we get to it. So I think we'll be able to continue the series, reading it every summer, if I have my mathed out just right. Okie dokie. Let's see. Wizard of Oz. Okay, another one that I didn't see until I was older. My son, we had a spend the night at my mama's house. It was me, my son, and my two little cousins that are my son's age. They were probably 8 or 9. They were probably 8 or 9. It was before I was pregnant with Raylan. They were probably 8 or 9, and they were spending the night with my mama like I used to when I was little, and they were watching Wizard of Oz, and I had never seen it, so I ended up staying the night, and like we were watching it pretty late. I ended up sleeping on the couch and watching the Wizard of Oz with them. All right, we're gonna mix a little over a half and half mixture of black and slate gray, just like we've been doing all series long. We're just making a dark charcoal gray. It's not a scary movie at all. It's campy. Okay, I can do campy. I can do campy. I can do campy. I'm going to do this little Filbert's brush. I just feel like all my angle brushes are going to be way too big for these seeds. And I'll be able to get in that little dip right there. But I do prefer, y'all know me, I prefer an angle brush. Okay, so I'm pretty much just drawing a triangle with rounded corners. Hold on, I should probably start in this point, go down, and then do a rainbow. Yeah, much better. And then clean up as I go. I was doing it backwards. I was just like, there's got to be an easier way to get my brush in there. All right, so let's start in the point. Go down as if we're drawing a capital A. Go down, and then do a rainbow. And connect the two. There we go. Much better. Rinse and repeat. I love based on true stories, rom-coms, and stupid funny movies like Ace and Christy. You're my spirit animal. We were just talking about Ace Ventura the other night. Hold on, there's another one. Nope. Yep, nope. Okay, no, we're good. It'll sneak up on me. We were talking about Ace Ventura the other night. I don't remember what brought it up. Oh, we were watching a show called Claim to Fame. And Claim to Fame, it's on, we watch it on Hulu because we watch it the next day. But it's on, I want to say it's on FX or NBC. I don't think it's a ABC, like, TV show. I think it's an NBC or an FX. But it's Claim to Fame. The Jonas Brothers are the hosts, and it's people who are related to famous people. So I won't give anything away, but like there's, the nephews of directors, or the granddaughters of the granddaughters of like I'm trying to give you examples without giving actual examples. Like they could be the granddaughter of someone famous. They could be they could actually be the kid the brother, the nephew, the niece, someone, they're directly related to someone famous. And so the new season of it started Monday. And so we watched on Tuesday on Hulu, we watched the replay of it. And at one point, someone had made the comment of, I bet you this person is related to Jim Carrey because of all the clues in the house that they're staying in. It's very Big Brother. If you've ever seen the show Big Brother, it's very much like Big Brother, where they stay in a house together and they get the opportunity to two truths and a lie, and they live in the house, and as they live in the house, they're hanging out, playing games, having conversations, cooking dinner. They're just doing life together in this house, all 10 of them, or 12 of them, and throughout having just random conversations, they're able to get clues and ask questions and piece things together. And then they have challenges that will either give away the identity of their famous relative or trick the other house guests of who they are. And it's just fun to sit and guess. And the rule in our house, which Mr. Wallace breaks it every time, and he says he doesn't, but I promise you, he is not as versed in pop culture as I am. And he gets some of the most random things correct. And I'm like, how'd you know that without Googling that? There's no way you knew that, and I didn't. And he finally admitted it the other night of, I didn't do it this time. I was like, so you admit that you did it? But the rule in our house is you cannot Google the show or the app. You can't do any spoilers. Like, you have to go off of your own knowledge until their identity is revealed. It's kind of like Masked Singer. We have the same rule for Masked Singer. We like the show Masked Singer. We just haven't watched it in a while. But we love this show, Claim to Fame. We have been waiting all summer so far for it to come back, because it's one of the summer shows. It's one of the shows that take place during the summer when all the other shows are on hiatus. We also like to watch the game shows during the summer. The big three like to have game show nights. Each one of the big TV companies have a particular night that they do all game shows. And Michael Strahan tends to be the host of pretty much every single one of them. And so we watch those when we don't know what we want to watch. It's fun. It's fun. So again, creating a capital A and closing it off with a little mini rainbow. Capital A, little mini rainbow. One more. So last week I was teaching my 15-year-old to blow dry his hair to flip out because he is letting it grow out and missing his floppy hair. He's been doing this by himself and he looks like Ace. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I can picture this, like, as you're talking about flipping his hair out, because this was the hairstyle that was popular whenever I was in high school. All the boys had it, and the way they did it, they didn't blow dry theirs. They just wore a baseball cap. They would wash their hair and immediately put a baseball cap on. I knew some guys that would sleep with a baseball cap on so that their hair would flip out. It was the funniest thing, and I always thought they looked like Ace Ventura. So it validates me that you say he looked like Ace Ventura, because I swear that's what I thought whenever the guys in high school did it too. Chrissy, this is hilarious. Okay, there we go. Got all the seeds painted. Let me see. Let me catch up on some comments. Y'all don't forget, if you put the word summer in the comments. I used to watch The Wizard of Oz all the time. The Care Bears, I did that. And what are Raylan's 3 favorite colors in order? Her 3 favorite colors in order. She likes pink. Okay, she says it's dark pink. It's really hot pink. She likes hot pink, like bubblegum pink, like uh like carousel pink. She likes carousel pink. She likes purple. Okay. Graham, what other than pink and purple, what color would you think is Raylan's favorite color? Red. Graham says red. I would go with that. So I would go 1, 2, 3. Those are the ones right there. Although she just loves color, to be honest. She will say her favorite color is different every day, but she is very consistent with pink for sure. That is her all-time favorite color. We're gonna blow dry everything. And then purple, she likes, and she specifically likes like purple, Crayola purple. Where I like a lighter lavender purple, she likes Crayola purple. I figured that was a Becca request. All right, so we are pretty much done with all the base coating. We are about to rapid fire the shading on this, okay? Rapid fire. And we are making great time. We have about 45 more minutes before I need to go and pick up the girl. Like I said, it's her last day of summer school. So this is perfect timing. Okay. So we're going to grab an angle brush, decent size, about ½ inch, minimum ½ inch. You could also use a flat brush. I like to use an angle. Look for a series called Away Home. It's about a time traveling pond. Oh, a pond. It has Andie MacDowell in it. She's a grandmother and a mother and a daughter that are restarting their lives, and they go back home. They very clean, well done. Anxiously waiting on season 2. Oh, what is it? Okay, hold on. A Way Home. The Way Home. Okay. The Way Home. Okay. I will go and look that one up because I'm telling you, there are certain, like with it being the summer, the kids want my attention, but there are going to be times where they're like, I'm going to go play in my room. I'm going to go hang out. And I'll just be sitting in the living room, drawing on my iPad, waiting for them to want to come hang out with me again. All right, so we've got Berry Cobbler. Berry Cobbler. And we are going to, all I'm going to do is I'm just going to take one side. I'm not going to go all the way around. At least I say I'm not yet. I'm going to spritz just so that this paint moves a little bit further. I'm going to go around. I'm going to live with that for a second and see if I'm going to let that dry and see if I want. I do. I'm lying. I don't know why I'm playing with. We want both sides. We want both sides. We want both sides of the watermelon. The label on my shorts. I have jean shorts on right now, and the label on my shorts is rubbing up against the back of the chair, and it is driving me crazy. I don't know if y'all can hear it, but I can hear every time it squeaks against the back of the chair. I'm just trying to soften that paint up a little bit. There we go. I had way too much paint on my brush. There we go. There's one. I don't know if do I want to do the little bite marks? Hold on. I'm kind of toying around with with placement of the shading. Hold on. I think I do. I think I want to do the bite marks. I just don't want my shading to be a distraction. I just want it to be to elevate, not distract. Okay. There we go. I think that's how I want it. Okay. Rinse and repeat. Keep going. Move on to the next piece. Remember, with each piece, you want to spritz it, okay? And we're just going from one end all the way to the other. So we're going to do this straight line. If you get it in the white, just take your finger or a baby wipe and just kind of wipe it away. Okay. Go. Go. So there we go. Just a little smidge of a shadow is being created there. So like I said, we're gonna move on to the next piece. Do just a little spritz, light pressure. Going around. If you notice, I'm not really getting in the nooks and crannies of the bite mark. I'm just laying down just a little bit of a shadow there. I'm not being too matchy on placement. This spray bottle, like I said, if you're wanting to know where I get it from Hobby Lobby. And if you just want to order it, you can put the word summer in the comments, and I will put down that link buffet that will include anything that we talked about today, including the spray bottle and the stencil, and where you can get these designs. They are a gift from me to you this summer. Where you can order blanks, all the things. But if you're just looking on, hey, where'd she get that spray bottle? I got it from Hobby Lobby. It's a very specific spot in Hobby Lobby. Gina proved that when she went to Hobby Lobby yesterday. She said that she looked and she couldn't find it. And then I told her one more place that she could have looked. And she's like, I didn't look there. And I'm like, I'm telling you, it's there. I promise you. They put it in all different places, but I promise you, it's there. But if you're looking for one, it's an ultra fine mist bottle. Some of them say fine mist bottle and some of them say ultra fine. I think this one is an ultra fine. Maybe it's just a fine mist, but it's a lot lighter of a mist than a regular spray bottle, than what a hairdresser or what you would have in the bathroom would use, right? What not the heavy spritz your hair kind. That those water droplets are way too heavy. This is literally just a light mist. And if you notice, I'm doing 2 sprays sometimes, and it's just because it's just such a light mist. It's not really laying down a lot of water, and it dries pretty fast. Like there are times, like right now, I get so far and all of a sudden the water's gone because it is such a light misting that it dries up pretty fast. It evaporates pretty fast because there's super teeny tiny water particles. All right, we're on piece number 5 of 6. Like I said, we're just adding a little bit of shadow. I'm going to erase that. There we go. Last one, and then we'll move on to our green. I did 3 that time. Let's see if it doesn't evaporate as fast. So I'm using Berry Cobbler on top of our pink gradient. And our pink gradient, like I said, if you're looking for the supply list, you put that word summer in the comments, and I will come back, and that link buffet will also contain the link to where you can find the supply list. The supply list is tucked away with the design. So if you're looking for the designs, the supply list will be with the designs. Okay, here we go. Look how cute. Look how cute. Okay, we're going to clean our brush. What are the tags on your paintbrush? Okay. I'll show you. So whenever I buy brushes one at a time, you go to Hobby Lobby, you go to Michael's, they have that wall of paintbrushes that you just pick one at a time. That's the tag so that you can identify. So this is a 1/2 inch. I don't know if you can see that. It's really tiny. It's a 1/2 inch angle. I'm just too lazy to take them off. This will stay on here for years. The printing will be gone, and that I'm just too lazy to take them off. Honestly, I can tell which ones I got as a single brush and which ones came in like a multi-pack, whether or not it has the tag on the back. Let's see. It's looking so good. Let's put the green on, okay? So we're going to go, remember, to get this base coat green, we married or mixed 1/2 and 1/2 of 2 different shades of green, okay? To get the stencil color, we added white to that mixture that we created. Now, here's the magic of mixing colors. You can go back to the straight from the bottle color to get your shade color. Since we lighten this color, guess what? If we just use the straight from the bottle color, it's going to be the perfect shade color to add dimension without having to go mixing colors again. So we're going to do that. We're just going to put a little drop. We check our time. Oh, we still have plenty of time. Plenty of time. And we're almost done. So close. Okay, so I'm going to just grab some of that straight from the bottle Hauser medium and load my brush up. I'm just putting it on the toe of my brush. All right. I'm actually going to set this one aside. That was the last one I painted. This one should be dry. All right. I'm going to go. You make it as heavy as you want. If it's not as dark as you want, let it dry. Come back and put a second coat. Because we're adding the water to our project, it dilutes the paint down. It makes it transparent. So whenever you go to deepen it up, add a second coat, it's building opacity. You're making it deeper and darker. Okay, I'm going to put that one off to the side. I may end up doing 2 coats. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. But they have to dry. You can't do 2 coats on while it's still wet, because all you're going to do is move that paint around. While it's wet, the water allows these paint particles to thin out and move around and makes them less opaque. It makes it more transparent. And so if you want to build color or make it deeper, you really want to let it dry and do a second coat after it's dried. And it, like I said, this is such a fine mist, it won't take but a minute to dry. So by the time we finish the first coat on these, we'll be able to go back and do a second coat. They will be perfectly dry for us to do a second coat. And I feel like for this particular piece, I feel like we need to go back and do a second coat and deepen it up. Okay. That was way too much water. I can already tell you that was way too much water. All right. That's okay. Yeah, way too much water, because all it's doing is it thinned the paint down so much you can barely see it. So I'm going to set this one off to the side, let it dry for a second, and finish that. That'll still count as a first coat, because it's just so, I need that water to evaporate just a little bit. 3 spritzes was too much. 2 spritzes, perfect. Y'all don't forget, tomorrow I'm gonna pop back on. I don't know exactly what time. It'll probably be 10 o'clock in the morning. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking 10 o'clock. Maybe 10 o'clock. Maybe not noon. I'll probably be 10. And we will finish up like putting twine, putting sealer, adding hangers, all that. We will finish the project. Because right now they're half finished. They're just painted, right? They're not doing anybody any good. We need to get them to usable. Right now they're just pretty. We need to get them pretty and usable. So tomorrow about 10 a.m. we'll come back with a little pop-up. and finish the project. All right, like I said, we're going to come back and do this one. This is still wet, so this is counting as a first coat. Yeah, so much better. All right, let's bring in number 1. Little spritz. Watch this. It builds the opacity. It deepens it. I don't know if on camera you'll be able to see it because it's such a light layer. So it went from, this was the second one we painted. So it went from this to just, I don't know if you can tell. I can't see. So I don't know if you could tell, but this one is a little bit more intense than this one. It's still transparent. I can still see the stenciling through it, but this one is more saturated than this one. Look how cute they are side by side. That's super cute. That's super cute. All right, let's move that one out of the way. We have 5 more to do, and then we'll be done. I don't think I'm going to do any shading on the seeds on these just because they're so small. I'm really focusing on the bigger portions of these smaller pieces because that's really what your eye is going to be drawn to. Okay. Just putting that second coat and just showing you how you can build opacity. You don't have to deepen your actual paint. Just put on a second coat. It helps build that opacity. And I'm just swiping it on. I'm not really being too precise with it. Just swiping it on. That water is really doing 90% of the work. Okay. Water is doing 90% of the work. As long as the water doesn't evaporate faster than I can work, it's going to do 90% of the work. Oh, goodness. They just look so yummy. They almost look real. That splatter paint is the only part that's really giving it a whimsical look. I mean, I guess the stencil is too. This one was still a little wet. I'm gonna blow dry this one because this is that one that we had to do a second first coat on. You always do a great job keeping shading. I've always been so intimidated by shading. The way you teach it, it just clicks for me. I feel more comfortable now using the technique. Oh, thank you, Gina. Well, okay. So I have toyed around with shading for years and years and years and years. Remember, I started painting when I was about, really, I mean, honestly, probably 8 was when I really started taking it seriously as like a coping mechanism, as like a therapy. And I never learned traditionally how to paint. I toyed around with techniques, and I would look stuff up and teach myself, and I never really truly learned how to shade. All I knew how to do was mix wet paint and make wet paint work together. It wasn't until this really made all the difference in helping me learn how to do this and make it look organized, right? Before, it was just chaotic organization. But it always worked for me, and I love that style, that wet on wet style, almost like mimicking oil painting, but I like a more organized look. And this right here was the game changer for me, was that spray bottle, finding the right spray bottle for it. And I'm glad it helps you, because I'm telling you, I almost gave up on learning that technique, because the way that it works, I mean, there are so many people that just use literally dirty paint water and they can do it. I can't. I almost gave up because the way that it works for other people never clicked for me. So it's like you said, it wasn't until such and such it finally clicked for you. It wasn't until I found this particular type of spray bottle where it finally started clicking and working for me. And I'm so glad I found it. I'm glad I'm able to share it. Okay, y'all. All that being said, let me double check. Let me look at my mock-up, which is honestly, it's been through the ringer at this point. 3 different projects, 3 straight days, water everywhere. I think we're done. I think we're done. We could totally add some. I would, if you're going to use a paint pen, I recommend something that's super thin, like a 1MR. So 1MR right there. Okay. I highly recommend something this thin. I wouldn't go any thicker than this. Okay. White and black. But honestly, I'm going to leave it as is. I'm a wet on wet blender, and I like the title chaotic. It's chaotic organization. I work well in organized chaos. I do. And my brain originally, that's how it, whenever I wanted to express artwork, like through my artwork, it was always a wet on wet technique. It was always blending with wet. Um, and it's what my hand just knows. But my brain, so here's the difference. It's what I know. It's my muscle memory. But my brain was craving organization. And so this helps me get the best of both worlds. So I'm able to do like the ombre, which is a wet on wet technique, right? But I also get the organization of my shading and having it placed exactly where I want it. And if I don't like it, I can erase it and redo it without having to start all the way over. Right? Right. Okay. I hope that makes sense. Okay. So is there anything that I can help you with before I leave? Because I'm about to sign off for the last time for this series. As far as painting goes, tomorrow we will come back on for a 4th installment, a little extra bonus from me to you on how I would take all these pieces and wrap them up with one big old bow and make them a decor set. So tomorrow about 10 a.m. If I'm not here at 10 a.m., I'll be here at noon. Okay, all Central Standard Time. If you're not going to be able to be available for tomorrow, don't worry. Put the word summer in the comments, and that will get you that link buffet that has all the links to everything that we talked about. You just pick the link that you're looking for. It'll also have a link to all the replays of everything that we painted for this series. The door hanger, the porch cleaner attachment, which is the cupcake. Here, let me show it to you one last time. Here's the cupcake, and it's super duper cute. So we've got our watermelon slices for our garland. Look how cute these are going to coordinate. Look how cute. Oh my gosh. It's probably one of my favorite sets that we've ever painted. The garland, it'll have the door hanger, the attachment, the garland, and also we'll add another section for tomorrow's live as well for the wrap up. Okay, so we'll wrap it up tomorrow. We'll add attachments. We'll add our fixtures, whether it's our hanger or our Velcro or stringing these together. If we end up doing a rag swag, I'm not committing to that idea yet. Just depends on if I can find the fabric between now and 10 a.m. tomorrow. So y'all don't forget, put the word summer in the comments, and I will see y'all again tomorrow. Bye.